Leadership is one of the most scarce resources on planet Earth. And what I mean by leadership tends to be something we think of as entitled. So most of you guys who are running your martial arts school right now, you probably have a leadership or some kind of program like that. And the problem is your leadership program tends to be a title. You put a name to it. Maybe they get a uniform that's a little bit different. And that's pretty much it outside of a separate class. And it tends to be some kind of instructor course for kids or for even maybe your adult students. And it doesn't necessarily have a lot of context in contrast to the word leadership to the outside world. And we'll tell people that we're working on that, but we really don't have a system and process for that. So let's talk about leadership. Number one, if you're going to hire someone to come work for you, and I'm challenging you right now, if you own your martial arts school, the reason why you're not getting bigger, and when I say the word scale, I'm not talking about more locations. Maybe you don't need a second location. Maybe you don't want a second location. Again, I think it's a little unethical that if you believe martial arts changes lives, and it probably changed your life, it probably saved your life in a lot of ways. If you think about it in those ways, I think it's unethical not to tell the world about it. I think it's unethical for you not to sell it at a high level, because if you have the secret sauce that can help a kid's life, to help a person have purpose beyond just waking up in the morning, going to their job, waking up in the morning, going to school, coming home, and just going through. If martial arts did that for you, why would you not want tens of thousands, if not millions of people to be mentored by you? I think the reason why sometimes you say you don't want another location or you don't want more students is because you just don't know how to do it. Honestly, I don't think you know how to do it. I don't think you haven't figured out how to get bigger, better, and bolder. So let's talk about it. The first person you need to lead, well, it's yourself. And so we are our biggest weakness. And I'll tell you, the cell phone, as much as it saves our life in a lot of ways, it makes things convenient. We can DoorDash food to us. We can, have everything delivered to us. We can find things out. Most of you guys, if you had to go from where you live right now to another city, if you didn't have GPS on your phone, you probably wouldn't figure out how to get there, right? Probably pulling out a map would be something no one knows how to do anymore. Well, think about it in this terms. If you sell leadership and you put discipline in your marketing and you don't know how to lead yourself first, if you don't know how to push those distractions away and use it for what it is, a tool. Social media is a tool. Your phone's a tool. It should not be the thing that you become the tool for. So first is like leadership. How are you leading yourself? Then, why don't you have more students? Why don't you have a staff? Why are you teaching every class? How can you not attract people? Why are you not an empire builder? Because don't you deserve it? Don't your family deserve it? Don't your students deserve more success? Listen, go look at a church. Look at a church that has nothing but people that are 60 years of age and older. The church is dying. Now go look at a church that's thriving. You'll see a lot of young kids. Look at a martial arts school that's dying. You can tell the instructor is giving up. He's probably gaining weight. He hasn't been to a class himself. He's not willing to invest everything he has, not just money, but his energy into getting better. He stopped being a student. So I'm challenging you right now. First, check in with yourself. The reason why you are not growing to your next level is because you're lying to yourself, trying to convince the world that you don't want another school. You don't want more students, and you're blaming your leads. You're blaming your website. You're blaming your ads. And by the way, you don't even know the difference between ads and marketing. You're spending money on advertising on social media. You should, but that is all you're doing. And marketing is more important than advertising. So right now, I'm just challenging your leadership. Your people who do work for you, they chose to work for you. They chose to work for you. You are their mentor, not just their boss. And so think about this, they could go work somewhere else, make probably twice as much money for half the amount of time. They chose to work for you, and you're neglecting them because you stopped being the leader they thought you were. They don't quit because of a paycheck. They don't quit because of pay. They quit because they stopped being led. Leadership will change everybody's life, including yours. So every time you have the chance to be closer to someone bigger, better, and bolder than you, the answer should be yes. And it shouldn't be like, I don't have the money. I promise you, there's ways to get in the rooms you can't afford to be in, because I've done it over and over and over and over again. And I get better every single time. And it's not just what I'm hearing. I hear the same information, guys, but I get inspired to write notes down, to go back to my drawing board, to reevaluate. And it's not about adding another curriculum. Okay, I made a post about this recently. It's like, how many of you guys have been to some kind of big workshop or some kind of trade show for the martial arts industry, and you see some sexy curriculum because you think it's going to be the game changer, or some equipment you add into your school, you think it's going to be the game changer, but it's a gimmick that you bought. You spent $5,000 on a curriculum you never used. You didn't know how to use it. You got sold. You got sold with emotion because you were in a heightened state. But if you had a mission you were chasing, you would be in rooms and you would pay attention to how you're being sold so you can go do it, because you have a product and a service that does change lives. You're in the transformation business. So the question is, you're only going to attract the people into your martial arts school that you'll attract what you put out into the world. So if you're not a student, if you're not growing, if you're not in rooms, but you're a student that you're trying to sign up, they can't afford the $200, $250, or $300 a month, and you're all ticked off because they don't see the value. Well, when's the last time you spent $30,000 in a month? That's the equivalent. You're the business owner. You want to have $1 million plus business. Their $300 a month is equal to your $30,000. When's the last time you spent $30,000 in one time, one workshop? Not over the year. One workshop. When I sold my company, I paid $40,000 to ask one question of someone because I want to know how I could treat my staff when I was no longer part of the team anymore. $40,000 for one question so I could have a better sense of where I was going. It's just money. You will replace money. You won't replace time. And with more success, you can buy some time back, but not all of it. So my question again, how are you leading yourself? Where's your leadership? And I'm challenging you to check in with yourself, check your ego, quit worrying about whatever your organization of martial arts you're in, quit worrying about how they control you. They're controlling you. You can't work with somebody because your organization says, well, if you do that, we're not going to promote you, and you buy into that bullshit, well, you're a sheep. So stop being that. Be a leader. Quit being manipulated. And by the way, don't let money stop you from being in the right rooms. There's always a way, whatever it takes. If you believe you're in the transformation business, I know I am. I know you are. Why would you not want to do that 100 times bigger than you're doing now? Some kid out there needs the person you're becoming. It'll save their life. Promise you will. So let's get better together. And whether you work with me, some other coach of accountability, pay for accountability and pay for speed to get there. Get in the right rooms. You deserve it. And people are counting on you. Let's rise together.